So hi everyone, welcome to our animation and visual effects program info session. So this session is for anyone that is currently applying to the program, is interested in possibly applying to the program in the future. I will go over a few things. My name is Danielle. I'm the undergraduate counselor here for Dodge College, so I will be your host and moderator this evening. For anyone that is here, please go ahead and turn off your camera and audio for now. If you have any questions during the session, you are welcome to pop them into the chat. Please just make sure that you are chatting everyone because a lot of times someone has the same question you do, and that way they can all see your question and answer. However, we will have time for Q&A at the end, so if you would prefer to ask a question live, or just put it into the chat at the end and have me answer live, that is totally okay as well. So we'll get to that toward the end of the session. I just want to go ahead and start by introducing our hosts. We do have some host panelists today. We have faculty from the Animation and Visual Effects program, as well as current students from the program. If we can just go ahead and start with you, Ruth.
Hi, my name is Ruth Daly, and I'm the program director here of the BFA in Animation and Visual Effects. I teach most of the 3D classes, but my background is traditional animation, VFX, and creature and character animation in 3D.
Thank you. And Dave?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Kuhn, and my specialty is 2D hand-drawn animation. My background was at Disney feature animation, worked on films like Pocahontas and Hercules, and I also worked on Animaniacs and Scooby-Doo movie and Tigger movie, stuff like that. And so my interest is really bringing out the performance and the acting choices in your 2D work.
Thank you, Dave. And Miriam?
Hi, I'm Mariam Hamid. I'm a faculty teaching visual effects, mostly Houdini and like compositing and things like that. Yeah, that's
Do you want to tell them where you came from before this?
oh, where I came from. Yeah, I used to teach for Noman School, and then I switched to Chapman University a year ago. So yeah.
And she was at DreamWorks and Blizzard.
I see. Yeah, you want the whole like
Yes,
history.
a
I
little
see
bit.
that. Okay. Yeah, so I did work for Disney. I worked on Encanto. I worked on at DreamWorks I worked on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Ruby Gilman. What else? I worked at Blizzard for World of Warcraft cinematic team. I think that's about. Oh, I worked for Netflix for like a little bit. I worked on Love, Death and Robot, the second season. Yeah, it's it. The volume 2. That's it. That's all.
Yeah,
Thank
Mariam is our newest full-time faculty member, and she joined us about a year and a half ago.
Yes, and we're so happy to have her. You've worked on such cool things, Miriam, and that gets all of these students excited. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
To start with, I would love to hear just a brief overview of your program. Ruth, if you don't mind, just giving a very brief overview of kind of what this program encompasses, and then we'll get into some more of the details.
Okay, so it's a 4-year program, and in your first year, you get exposure to a lot of different types of animation, and also you are in classes with some of the students in the film school as well, so you get to take advantage of being here at the number 4 film school in the country. And then in your second year, you'll choose one of 3 tracks, either 2D, 3D, or VFX. But you'll still have classes together with everybody else in the AVE major, in the animation major, but some of the classes are split up and they become more specialized. So if you're in VFX, you'll take a lot of procedural classes in Houdini with Mariam. I do 3D character animation, and Dave does a lot of character animation in 2D. So we're very much performance and story orientated program.
Thank you so much. And we do also have some current students in the program here with us as well. Alex, would you mind introducing yourself and the year that you're in at Chapman?
My name is Alex. I'm a VFX senior. and I'm also a student worker for the LED wall.
Very cool. Thank you. And Ariana and Josh.
My name is Josh. I am a junior 3D emphasis, and I have a minor in entertainment technology.
Hi, I'm Ariana. I'm a junior 2D emphasis with a minor in English.
Thank y'all so much. I want to ask, and this can go to anyone really, what makes this particular animation and visual effects program unique?
I'll talk a little bit about our mentors. So we have these artists in residence that work with our seniors one-on-one, and we have actually four amazing people this year. So we have John Musker, who's the director and writer of Moana, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, and there's one more that Dave can tell
Great
me.
Mouse Detective, Treasure Planet.
Treasure
There's a
Planet
lot of
was the
them.
one. So anyway, he's what is a total legend, and he's an incredibly kind and funny man because he's such a good writer. So he comes in and he works every single Wednesday for 3 hours, and actually he's here for 4 hours this year on Wednesdays working one-on-one with seniors. And so I just don't think you're going to really find people of that caliber. We have Robert Legato, who comes in and works with the VFX students. He has 3 Academy Awards from working on Titanic and Apollo 13 and Hugo. So he worked with James Cameron and Martin Scorsese extensively throughout his career. And that's just a person of incredible caliber, and it's a great privilege to actually be able to spend time with him and work with him. And then we have Lauren Faust, who rebooted My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, which is a huge franchise that made over $1 billion a year after she rebooted it in 2013. And she also comes in and works one-on-one with the student teams. She comes in on Tuesdays and John comes in on Wednesdays throughout fall and spring. And so to have access to industry giants like that, that's one of our trademarks that we offer. And they also teach classes in January. John does a caricaturing class, and Lauren does pitching and show running, so you get a chance to learn how to sell your ideas for a show in that class. So that's one of our flagship programs, is working with those people. The collaboration is the other big thing that's really important in this program. We do team projects, which only a few animation schools do for their senior capstone. Ringling and Gobelin, who are two of the top schools in the world, also do it. We have 4 or 5 person teams, and so it allows students to really specialize. But it also it's a spirit of collaboration and learning and working together and teamwork, which is how it is in the industry. And so there isn't really a competitive situation here like there might be at other schools. And you collaborate also with composers, actors, script writers, sound designers, sometimes even cinematographers. So an amazing collaborative environment and an amazing community. So I think the students could probably speak to that as well, how fun it is to be here.
I agree. Absolutely. Thank you, Ruth. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Dodge and Chapman in general really want students we want you to curate your education. We want you to get out of it what you want out of it. So even though, yes, there's an animation and visual effects track, you're going to have your hand in so many different things and collaborating with so many other people at Dodge. Did anyone have anything to add for the unique?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of piggyback on some of the things that Ruth said. We have a unique collaborative relationship with the Gobelin School in Paris, and their films are some of the top in the world. Our students have an opportunity to go each summer and actually learn there, and it's a great opportunity that is available to all of our students to take weeks and go over there and work there. So that's really something that's also very unique to our school.
Thank you so much. And we will get into more things like visiting artists, master classes, and study abroad opportunities as well in a little bit. Let's see. My next question, and this can go to any of you as well as the students, what sorts of projects can students expect to complete over their time at Dodge?
Dave, do you want to go?
Sure. So we have students in the sophomore year that are creating their own films. They're learning how to create short projects. They're working on the story, focusing on personality, character. But then we move into some group projects in the junior year. So they're learning how to collaborate. They might be working with outside screenwriters, composers, learning how to work as a team. Actually, Josh and Ariana are two of our students who are in that junior class right now, and they're working with a class of 20 people to produce a film that's almost 5 minutes long over the whole course of the semester, taking on multiple roles. Josh is the producer, Ariana is director. Everyone has an important role to play. It's a way to discover what your talents are in areas that maybe you didn't even realize you might have a passion for. And then, of course, we move into the thesis projects, and those are team projects, as Ruth mentioned, where we might have three, we might have five people or more working on a single project, whether it's in CG or if it's in 2D, or the visual effects students will be working in conjunction with the Dodge live action films to support them and create the virtual production environments that they're in. So there are really a lot of opportunities. Of course, people have a chance to also work on shorter projects, but everyone also helps each other out, which I think is really cool. So we have sophomore students that are working on the thesis projects. There's a great spirit of collaboration that Ruth mentioned before that I think makes it really stand out. But that's the kind of stuff that we'd be working on, learning both to do your own skills, but how those are going to integrate into a collaborative environment out in the real world as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. What sorts of jobs and internships can students expect to get in this program? Maybe you know of any current students that have gotten some really cool internships, or any
Yeah,
alums and what
yeah.
projects they might be working on.
So this last year's graduating students, we have one that went to Leica, and he went as an intern and then got hired at the end of the summer. And then we had one that also went to Netflix, and that student also got hired at the end of the summer. We have a lot of, generally we have DreamWorks brings in a lot of students from our program, so we get sometimes 2 or 3 students that go to DreamWorks. We have some students that go into virtual production. So we have students that, those are vendor studios, so they might not be as familiar to you, but they work on big high profile projects at those studios. We've had students go to Blizzard, Nickelodeon, PlayStation, across the board, really working on a really wide range. Because we do 2D, 3D, and VFX, there's a big range of different studios that students and alumni end up working for.
Thank you so much. I remember one of my past admissions assistants was in the animation program, and she interned at DreamWorks while she was here. And during that internship, she actually got credited on Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yes.
And when we screened it, we got to shout her out, which was very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, Ariana, and Josh, have any of you had any internships yet that you want to share about?
Yeah, over the summer I worked at a small studio called Scissor Films. They're up in the Burbank area, so that was a little bit of a fun drive I went like 2 to 3 days every week. Every internship's a little bit different. That one was definitely more of like a more lax internship where I got to create my own schedule. Some can be a little bit more strict. But I had a great time there. They do green screen virtual production, editing, a bunch of different things. And occasionally they'll reach out for me or to me for like freelance VFX work now as well.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Ariana or Josh, did you have any internship stories?
Oh, for me, I was at DC Comics just this summer, so I did a lot of like digital production as well as like print prep work for them. I got to work on titles such as like Absolute Wonder Woman, a lot of the Absolute series. I don't know if there's any DC fans here, but that's like what's really popular now. Um, and just like classic like Batman, Superman stuff. It was a lot of production, so it was a lot of like InDesign work and like book building. But yeah, that's what I did. And scrolling comics as well, like webtoons, since that's really popular now.
That is so cool. Thank you. And Josh?
For me, over the summer, I worked for a documentary company, like who did like a lot of Netflix documentaries, as a development intern, and then current where I did a lot of like pitches and a lot of market research. And then currently, I'm a also a development intern for a company owned by a person who produced like the Hunger Games series, the Batman. So he's been really like kind of the big forefront, and where I also just do a lot of like script coverage and again a lot of market research.
That is awesome. I am going to go ahead and ask you guys an interesting question. I don't know if you've thought about your future yet, but can you tell me if you thought about what your dream job would be after graduating? Anyone? Anyone?
Do you like to go?
Um, well, I feel like as artists, like our dreams are always changing, and like especially trying to navigate this current industry, we kind of have to kind of change what we really want to, especially as it gets harder and harder. As for me, my current dream is that I want to be like an executive producer for animation. I want to be at DreamWorks. That's my dream company. So yeah, that's kind of where I want to go, whether that be in like production or development. That kind of producing role is where I want to be.
I love it. Those are great goals to have. Anyone else want to share?
For me, it's definitely it's hard to say. I think like there's so many different avenues where you can apply VFX skills, whether that's marketing, um, within like television, commercials, movies. Recently I've been doing a lot of stuff with like this AI company called Beeble AI, and they've expressed interest in bringing me on as like a creative technologist after I graduate. So that would be definitely like a great position to start grad like once I graduate. But as far as like 10 years down the line, who knows? Um,
The sky's the limit.
anything creative. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex will be able to probably do whatever he wants to do.
I love that. The confidence Ruth has in you is great. Excuse me. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing about that. I know that some things that a lot of students want to know about as they're thinking about what colleges to attend is, do you offer any, or are there any study abroad opportunities for animation and visual effects students, or any other type of special events that they can attend as a Dodge student?
So Dave mentioned the travel course to Gobelin in the summer. So they go for about 2.5 weeks to Paris, and they do a visual storytelling course, which is like a little incubator for the master's program at Gobelin, which is their flagship program, and they're the number one ranked animation school in the world. And it's situated right in central Paris. So you also get to go and see all the art museums, and you're a 15-minute walk from the banks of the Seine and Notre Dame. So it's pretty much the most amazing travel course I could possibly have created for students, I think. So I went there last year and the year before. It was wonderful, and it's just you actually get immersed in the artist community of Paris while you're there because you're with the all the creators at Gobelin. There was people from Arcane, and quite a lot of the big creative, leading creative minds of the French animation industry are very closely connected with that school. Guillermo del Toro is starting up a stop motion studio in conjunction with them as well. So that is I think is our flagship travel opportunity. We also have started sending students to Stuttgart for a semester abroad. There's a school there called the Film Academy, and they got two projects into the Student Academy Award finalists this year, and one of their films won. So and those were the 3D projects, I think, from there. So that's an incredible opportunity. We were so privileged to be able to work with them. Um, Generally, the students, it's a very intensive program, so you do have to be careful about going away if you're not going to go to an animation school. So we try to encourage students to just go to a school where they can do courses that are related to animation.
Did you
Amazing.
also want us to talk about some of the masterclass opportunities that students have access to here?
Yes.
I would love for you to,
Okay.
please. Thank
Well,
you.
we have really great folks that come in to speak to us coming in next month, or to the directors of K-pop Demon Hunters that are going to come speak to our students, which is going to be amazing. We also, Dodge has great guests too. They had Adam Scott of Severance come in recently. So we have a lot of actors.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, The Rock was here. We had Genevieve Tsai, who is the designer of a character designer for the Wild Robot, was in last month. So there's a whole lot of people that are coming in many times a semester to be able to speak to our students, talk about their process. And Ruth, you can name off, I'm sure, many of the other guests that we've had here.
Yeah. Brad Bird is coming in next semester, which is really exciting too. That's the director of Ratatouille and Incredibles and The Iron Giant, which I worked on with him. I forgot to say what I worked on. So my background was traditional animation, and I worked with Brad on The Iron Giant as a character animation way back at the beginning of my career, which is amazing. And then I transitioned into VFX and worked on things like Night at the Museum and The Chronicles of Narnia. And then more recently, training staff to work on pre-visualization for Marvel movies. So that was in the last 2 or 3, like starting around in the middle of COVID, I was doing that. Training graduates from Ringling and SCAD mostly.
I can speak a little bit more on this as well.
Please.
Like for instance, like we had Rob Legato come recently. We got to pitch our thesis to him, but there was also an opportunity to have dinner with him as well. Kind of just hearing about like his personal experience in the industry, asking him like other questions about VFX and all that was great. There's also been a lot of opportunity to like attend certain events. Like recently, there's an event that we went to called Infinity Fest,
Oh
and
yeah.
there we recently we showcased our recent virtual production projects that we did last year at the student panel event, and there we made some like really important connections with some people. Like for instance, we met some people that want to help us do Gaussian splats for our upcoming thesis. There's a lot of people out there that like are willing to help students. You just gotta like meet the right people. And like that event is like a $700 ticket, but through Dodge it was free.
It was
So
at Sony Pictures Animation
yeah,
Lot as well, so that was really
yeah.
exciting.
And then some other opportunities like last April we went to NAB, which is this big film broadcast convention in Vegas. And me and a few other students went there. We made some connections with some companies like Disguise, which is our media server that we do all our virtual production through. Then we made some other connections through like other companies like Jet Set, etc. There's just like lots of great opportunities where you get to meet people or companies that can help you get your foot through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a great alumni network as well.
True. Also, like we do a lot of tours, studio tours. So next week is actually DreamWorks. We're gonna go with I think there's like 20 students or something like that to just visit the campus and for 2 hours. There'd be a panel or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Amazing. Thank you. Ariana and Josh, I want to swing over to you really quick. Do either of you have either a master class or a study abroad experience to chat about?
Yeah.
I feel like I could chat about the Gobelin France one all day. Like that was probably like my highlight of my entire Chapman career. I don't know what could top that. It was so spectacular. Like Ariana went on it too the year before me. It was just like it was a blast. Like it's such an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a really great way to get closer with your classmates. I went my freshman year, and I feel like coming back from that trip, I was just like so much closer to the people I went with. And also, I like you make friends there, like abroad, that you can still be in touch with today. Like I know I still talk to like people I met at Go Blondes and was able to become friends with them. And that like second Josh, like that trip was seriously so like amazing. Highly recommend it to anyone.
I love that. Everyone I've heard that's been on that travel abroad course has loved it. So we love to hear it. Thank you. Let's see. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but can we chat about how this program interacts and collaborates with other programs at Dodge?
I feel like I can talk about that.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm a pretty well versed, especially in like the Dodge sphere as well. I've taken a bunch of classes that whether that be um like production classes or audio classes, or even like producing classes. A lot of There's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of need to work together. So there's a lot of like filmmakers who need storyboard artists for their theses, and they don't really know how to draw, so they come to us and they help with either like concept art or storyboards or even like animatic, full-on animatics, which a couple of our friends are like working on like APs, which is their third level film, or even their theses, which is their senior thesis. So there's plenty of um, kind of overlap where animation students help out with live action, and live action kind of helps with like animation, like previously said, whether it be like producers or screenwriters or cinematographers or sound designers or composers. There's so much overlap, and that's what I think like is so special about this Dodge community.
I
I could not agree more. I think our collaboration and our overlap is so special. I hear from students all the time, even if they're not even close to being in a certain program, they're like, yeah, I made friends with someone in my dorm and we got on their set and now I know how to do gaffing. Or, you know what I mean? There's so many different things that you can get your hands in, especially just by networking with your own students that you're around.
yeah.
Yeah, Alex, do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, yeah. I think my experience is definitely a little bit different because I was also a transfer student. So, like a big thing that happens within Dodge in your first year, like you're on the in-campus dorms, but you're also with everyone at Dodge in those dorms. I didn't have that experience coming in, unfortunately. So I was off campus in Chapman Grand, which is a little bit more secluded, but this program really is special where like later on as I progressed through my degree more, like I had the opportunity to work with people from film production, especially on the virtual productions, VFX, etc. Right now, I'm working on my thesis, so there's a lot of collaboration between the production design because we want to make sure that matches with everything that we're doing virtually. There's a lot of collaboration between our cinematographer, our director, um, making sure that like uh even in the script writing process that VFX is like well represented. Um and yeah, I've also heard experiences from other people. Like I know some people in comp sci that have done things with like the Chapman sports broadcast network. Like there's a lot of collaboration between the school as a whole. People in like business majors joining the creative technology minor, which is also a minor that's very focused on virtual production as well.
Thank you
Um,
so much for sharing, Alex. I have a question that I want to kind of maybe swing toward Miriam. There's been quite an interest in the possibility of maybe getting into the video game industry. Can you chat a little bit how this program may prepare students to possibly go that direction?
Yeah, sure. So, there's a lot of classes that would teach you Unreal, and basically this is the most I would say used software for games, except for some studios they build their own game engine there, but like for the most part everyone uses Unreal or Unity, but we teach Unreal for the most part. And basically, if you know one software in the games, like it's really easy to get what you learned and what you like the basics and everything, and just transfer it to a different software. So it's just like that mindset of like every studio that you work for is gonna have like a different software that you just like have to like change, and then but like the basics are gonna be still the same. So I think that's for the most part. We have even basic classes that I teach, like AVE 120, which is just learning the basics of Maya, basics in Nuke, and then basics in Unreal as well. So they come in even as freshmen, learning at least like some basics in all the softwares, and then they will build their skills later on, and it will become advanced more like depending on their interests, if they're interested in learning more about Unreal or different other stuff.
Yeah, and we do have a game development minor as well that's in the comp sci, um, the comp sci college. So a lot of our students go over there and they work with the software engineering majors on on games together, and those have been quite successful. That's a very popular minor.
I could jump in on that too, because actually I didn't mention, but I worked in video games for a while myself at EA Games on Medal of Honor. So I would say 100% of like the CG animation skills that you would learn here, you could translate those right to working on video games, whether it's cinematics or the in-game animation as well. So you have a lot of flexibility with a degree from this program.
Yeah, yeah. And our location is great because there's a lot of gaming studios, small ones and very large ones in the area here. Obsidian and Blizzard are the giant ones that are here.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes away from Blizzard. We're very, very close. And for
Yeah, yeah.
anyone that's, oh,
Mhm.
sorry, for anyone that is listening to our students talk about internships in LA and jobs up in LA, I want to point out one thing really quick. For those of you who haven't toured here yet, if you're thinking about maybe coming without a car, we are actually across the street from the train station, and the train station is free for students. So if you ever get an internship or an opportunity up in Los Angeles, you do have that available too as well. All right. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Ruth, but in the animation and VFX program, you do have the opportunity to choose an emphasis or a focus. Can you explain, any of you, explain a little bit about kind of what that looks like to emphasize in this program?
So usually around Christmas time or around the holiday time, winter break in freshman year, you start thinking about that. And then when you enroll for fall of sophomore year, you want to be thinking about which area of study you're going to go in as you choose classes, because there's 3 tracks for each area. I teach the 3D track, and we work a lot on building characters and rigging them. So you'll create a second year film, and you'll design a character and then build that character in 3D and rig it, which makes it animatable in 3D. You'll build the environments, and then you learn the entire end-to-end pipeline of 3D by creating a short film. That happens in spring of your sophomore year. And then that gives you the foundational skills to move towards doing a capstone project, which in your senior year, which you'll do with a group. The second year film or the sophomore film is a solo project, and you get exposed to the entire pipeline so that you can understand whether you prefer building your character, building environments, lighting, um, uh, doing the color aspects of texturing and things like that. So it gives you a chance to be a generalist when you're a second year, where you know the whole pipeline, and then you can specialize when you get onto a team later in which area you're most interested in, with a view to building a portfolio as a specialist.
I got to jump in and say that while we do have those emphasis, we also have students that are very motivated to learn from some of the different tracks. So like Josh, for example,
Yeah,
has
Josh does
been
everything,
in
every single
3D, and
class.
then he's working on our 2D junior project now, and he's animating and doing cleanup and backgrounds, which is super awesome. So there is flexibility. We've got some of our 2D students who are working with Ruth now doing 3D animation because they were really motivated to learn more about that as well. So there is some flexibility to say, well, you're not just locked into this. We have these other opportunities. And if you really have the passion for it, you can actually learn a lot about both.
Yeah, and we will at the end show a sample of the recent senior work, which is not been released yet. So it's like a sneak peek, but it gives you an idea of how 2D and 3D work together on projects, because it's very much at the way the styles of those two areas of animation have blended. And then the VFX students also do simulations like explosions and things like that for us. You'll see some of that, and they do compositing as well, and you'll also see some compositing that students did on VFX students did on some of the films.
Thank you so much. I actually am ready now, Ruth. If you want to share your screen, and we'll show y'all a little bit of a, is it a little short?
Sure. Yeah, I have one one full project, which was one that actually won an award recently at the Infinity Festival, and then another compilation of shots showing the more of the technical aspect of it. So
Perfect.
I'll share my screen.
I'll let Ruth share those, and then afterwards we'll get to some Q&A.
Yes, I would. I mean,
Sorry, this is the end bit. Sorry, let me cue that up. Okay.
Rooster is a weird square on the screen.
Yeah,
Is it gone?
I'm seeing that as well.
Is it gone?
It's now like it's like a up, but I guess it's fine.
Okay, hold on. I'll just try to share the screen again. Is this better if I'm sharing my entire monitor?
I think so. It might be just the
It's
still
just
there.
the Zoom windows.
Yeah.
What?
It's just a little bit of the Zoom text, but it's clean now.
Oh, okay.
Why'd you throw it so fast? It's like a freight train fondled my hand. I don't think you understand dodgeball, big guy. Let's do another round.
I barely broke the sound barrier. This game is dumb.
Oh, my bad. I completely forgot that you're lame. It's always, I'm a big, dumb military robot, and
I must return to my post. Traffic is bad at 4.
It is 12 o'clock, and you're not even street legal. So, say no less.
Ha ha ha. Your throw was pathetic. But perhaps we could repurpose this game to train you to the death.
I don't know who threw that. Oh, almost died. Okay.
Dodgeball supply exhausted. Engaging tank mode.
Tank mode! that's not good. Okay, wait. Ah! I feel like this is escalating.
The violence of this game is accelerating! Reloading.
Stop following me!
No. Ha ha ha.
Sneak attack! Shoot.
According to my analysis, 206 of your bones would have been broken if you were a human. Does that qualify as a win?
What? What? No. That was a tie.
How could that be a tie? Cannonballs are an acceptable form of training for my unit.
Ha! Yes, I won. I mean, we didn't follow any rules in that game. However, it was still fun.
Agreed. Let's play another round.
Huh?
Okay, and then another one, this just is a more of a workflow video that showcases the work in the comp work in Nuke, where they rendered everything out in layers to create a final finished image. So let's just make sure we're at the beginning. Okay, so I'm also going to drop in the chat for people who are interested in VFX and the Houdini stuff, a lot of other work that's been done so that you can check those out. It's some work that we don't currently have on our website, so it gives an extra overview of the type of work that's going on in the program. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop those in the chat now.
I will also go ahead and drop our YouTube link. We have an animation reel and some other student works there as well.
Thank you.
Of course. And whenever everyone is ready, we can go ahead and start a Q&A. If anyone wants to pop questions in the chat, or you can ask over audio or over video, it is totally up to you. Really quick, while we're waiting for questions, hey John, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, I'm John Perez. I'm an animation professor. In the program, I teach most of the story classes, storyboarding, thesis, and writing, and also history of animation.
Thank you, John. Everyone is so shy today, apparently. All right, let's see. How many units are required to graduate, and how large is the freshman cohort? That is a really good question. Ruth, can you tell me about how large your cohort was for fall 2025? Do you remember?
Well, we had a huge increase last year. So usually historically we've taken about 30, 25 to 30 students as freshmen, and last year we got 40. So and actually and we ended up with 49 if you included all the transfers. So it's been a big year, and we do want to grow the program to be about 200 students overall.
Thank you so much. Yes,
Was
it
there
is
another part to that question?
it is a growing program. It
Yeah.
was how many units are required to
Oh,
graduate?
yes. So it's a 72 unit major, and then you're also required to complete a minor, and that usually ends up being somewhere between 12 and 30 extra credits, depending on what you do.
Amazing. And for anyone interested in minoring or double majoring, that process won't happen until you've been a Chapman student for at least a full semester. So don't worry about that right now, but you can definitely check out our minors page or the minors pages of any other colleges in case you are curious what is available. Next question. What kind of programs do we use for 2D animation?
Well, I can address that. Our primary tool is Toon Boom Harmony, and that is available both in our labs, which are open 24/7 here for students to access, but they also have a copy that they can install on their personal machine as well. So if they prefer to work in the dorm at home, they have that option. For storyboarding, we use Storyboard Pro, and we also have TV Paint if people are looking for a more natural media look to their work. That program's really good at that because it's a raster-based program, so you can emulate pencil work and watercolor and things like that. So those are our primary tools. We also have access to the whole Adobe suite, which gets used a lot, particularly After Effects for compositing, adding shadows and rim lights on our characters, and Premiere for assembling all of our films together. That's the quick overview.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take this next question. When do you take general education classes, and do you start taking classes in animation your first year? General education classes, so we're a comprehensive school at Chapman. We're not an art school, we're a comprehensive school. So that means that you're going to take gen ed in addition to your fine art as well. Your gen ed classes you'll typically knock out in your first 2 years, but you're not only taking gen ed classes in your first 2 years. You will hit the ground running in your program, and you will start your required animation curriculum in your freshman year. So you'll be doing both typically your first 2 years, and then you'll really focus in on your program once you get to your junior and senior year. For the most part, granted, you may want to do things a little bit differently. Every student is different, but that is the typical pathway. Faculty, is it common for you to see students all 4 years? Do you have classes with them all 4 years, or do they move around a little bit?
I feel like I'm the one who has everyone in every class every semester because I'm basically the first instructor everyone gets because I teach history of animation. But I think Ruth would basically talk about area of emphasis.
Yeah, I teach a lot of the 3D students, as I mentioned, and I don't get them until sophomore year, and then usually I'll have them most semesters, but not all. So you won't have the same teacher every single semester. We have a lot of faculty from all over the industry, so you're going to have a wide variety of different people instructing you. And we really emphasize having people from industry because they bring the latest workflows in with them, and they're well connected, and it's very exciting for the students to have teachers that are working on a lot of different projects. So it just depends. Dave, I think do you teach in all 4 years from beginning all the
I
way through to
do.
seniors?
I like
Yeah, and
to.
so
I
does
really love
Mariam.
teaching freshman classes so I can really get people jump started on, and Ruth and I are actually going to be co-teaching a freshman class next semester, which will be great. So I like to get them off to a good start, but then I've taught with sophomores as well on their projects and working with the juniors here, who we've got represented by Ariana and Josh, and then at the thesis film level too. So unfortunately, you can't escape me. So.
We have about 9 minutes. I'm going to try and get through a few more questions. For any of you that did put questions in the chat, if for any reason your question doesn't get answered, I am going to put the Dodge email address in the chat as well at the end. So feel free to email us if for some reason it did not get answered. Let's see.
And don't forget to grab the links to those the student work if you're interested in VFX.
Let's see. So Maddie is asking, she understands on thesis films, students get divided up and they get an individual job. But does the program teach all parts of the process? The short answer I would say is yes. You will learn every part of the process, and then by the time you get to the point to do your thesis, you'll kind of know what role you want to hold, and what you want to focus on.
We don't really assign strict roles to the students, actually. And they also all help each other out throughout their 4 years. So that film we showed you, Dodgeball, had freshman students who built the buildings for the environment. So you can hit the ground running if you're up for it. And if you want to take your time, you can wait until you know what you want to do and work on stuff later. But yeah, students choose what they want to take on, and then they find people who complement them and do the type of work that they are not as interested in.
Thank you. Jason was asking if you're interested in learning both 2D and 3D, does the animation curriculum allow you to study both? Yes, right? I think it was it Josh who said he does everything, right?
Yeah, Josh does.
You absolutely have the capability of doing everything. So if you want to focus on 2D and 3D, you definitely can focus on both. Let's see here. I might swing this one over to the students. Skylar is asking, what does the work-life balance look like as an animation major? Anyone want to pop in?
Yeah, at least from coming from the 2D side, I feel like it is very manageable. I like a lot of us have time to still work on like personal projects and collaborate with each other, so that's really nice. That's definitely something that like maybe like really specialized like art schools you might not be able to get. Like you can get more time like here, and more time to do like other things as well, like taking a lot of GEs, taking courses that are like outside of animation. So yeah, work-life balance is very manageable here, especially if you're like smart with your time. There's definitely a lot of opportunities to do other things and like work on your portfolio, you know, like you can start doing that like freshman year, sophomore year, even junior year. Like now that the workload has increased, I still am able to like do storyboards outside of class or like do art like that's not class related.
Thank you so much. And it is a rigorous program. Don't let anyone get it wrong. It is a BFA at Chapman University. It's a rigorous program, but I can say students in every program here definitely still have work-life balance. A lot of them still work on passion projects on the side. A lot of them have student jobs. A lot of them have Disneyland passes. So there's definitely time for everything, but you definitely have to be a proactive student that does have good time management. So that is just something to keep in mind. Really quickly, for those that are in the application process right now, to my faculty, what makes an animation portfolio stand out to you?
Well, I can
We're
say
looking. Okay,
Oh.
go ahead, Dave.
I'm just gonna, I'll just be very quick. We love to see your sketchbooks. We love to see your ideas about characters and performance, maybe funny things that your friends have said, little notes, poses that are unique from people you've observed. All that stuff is great. People oftentimes think a portfolio is really formal, but your ability to bring out personality and character and design characters and find what's funny about situations. Love to see that. I'll turn it over to Ruth here for the rest.
Yeah. So the portfolio the application is a guideline and it's not a requirement. First of all, we want to see who you are, what you love, what makes what kind of artist you are and how you like to express yourself. So quick sketches are great. If you have animation to show, that's great. If you want to submit like an animatic where you just show in storyboard form a story, that also works really well. We are very much about storytelling and character. And then also, if you have 3D work, you can put that in. But if you want to do 3D and VFX, you do not have to have 3D experience coming into the program. We'll start you absolutely from scratch, and everyone will learn from the ground up. So don't feel that you can't do 3D or VFX just because you submitted a portfolio that was for another area. We do have recommendations for each area, and that gives you an idea of the type of work that you would be doing in the program when you get there. But again, it's whatever you can get done and whatever resources you have access to, because not everybody has access to all the software and all of the technology that they might need to do certain things.
Thank you. A big thing that we say in admissions at Dodge College is we're looking for unique storytellers, right? So put your brand of storytelling all over your portfolio, all over your application. When it comes to the technical know-how, we'll teach you that, but we can't teach you to have that storytelling inside of you. So definitely show that in your portfolio as much as you can. All right, we have about 3 minutes. We'll see what else we can get to. This is an interesting one. They're asking, is there a particular type of laptop that is suggested for these programs? I know that we do have both Windows and Apple suites and things like that throughout Dodge, but do y'all have any recommendations?
You looked like you were ready to say something. Yeah, go.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Like we don't have a specific recommendation because it depends on what you're using your laptop for. So it depends on, for example, if you're a 2D student, you need like a good graphics like card, like a computer that has a good graphics, or compositing, for example. So it depends on what you're doing or what you want to focus on. But what I recommend is to use Chapman's like facility computers, because as a student, I was a student myself, and then if I like sometimes for example, like my hard drive will like just go off, or like my hardware would completely shut down and I would not be able to render or anything like that, especially if you're a 3D student and using a lot of like intense like hardware, or like you need a lot of like CPU or RAMs and things like that. Sometimes it could be taxing, and it could actually, because of one laptop, you could ruin the whole laptop for you. So we have the render farm that we really recommend that students use to just render their stuff out. Yeah, and just use the computers on campus, so if you ruin it, it's not yours, I guess.
Yeah, students will bring a hard drive with them back and forth, so that if they have a desktop at their dorm, they can just plug the hard drive into the desktop and work off it, and then bring it into the labs and use it there. And that works really well because they last longer and they're cheaper than laptops. Generally, we are pretty much 100% on Windows PCs. And so it's better to have that type and we do work with Dell computers a lot. So those are really great. You can build your own, and students will probably help you with that because a lot of them do that kind of thing, or you can buy already a pre-made one. It's just having a good graphics card, and it's like anything else. If you spend more money, you'll get a better computer. So
I also just want to note for anyone that heard the comment about hard drives, Dodge College does provide hard drives for you as well, so don't worry about that. We are out of time. I am going to link everything in the chat right now. I also put in our admissions office email address. We do have our own admissions office at Dodge, fully staffed by myself, our director of admissions, and about 20 student workers that are all Dodge students that are very well versed in your creative supplement requirements and all that stuff. So please feel free to email us if you didn't get a question answered or anything else came up. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We love to talk to you guys and we love to answer your questions. So call us anytime. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was great. Thank you to the faculty, thank you to the students, and thank you to all of the families that